Hello and welcome to another episode of In the Wheels, the show that champions all riders from world champs to weekend warriors, where everyone has their story to tell. And today the story is coming from Mia Williams. She is an Australian cyclist. She's currently signed with the Meridian BikeBug team. We previously had Quinn Findlay from them, so this is an alternative perspective, and also their teammate is former show guest Alyssa Pilares. So yeah, it's a team that I have a lot of space in my heart for, and yeah, I can't wait to see how all of them do, and this is Mia's story.
Hello, good morning, or good afternoon. We did this earlier. Good evening for you. Yeah, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me, and good morning to you.
It's kind of weird. Like, I've chatted with a few Aussies recently, and it's like it messes me up. Like, time zones are just wild.
Yeah, because what time? It's 8 p.m. here. What time is it for you?
It's just gone it's just about to get to 9:15 in the morning.
Yeah. Geez, yeah, that's
And,
almost 12 hours difference, 11 hours.
And like, you're in a t-shirt, I had to wear like a jacket, gloves, body warmer, a hat just to go and walk my kids to school. Like,
Yeah.
It's wild.
Yeah, and it's like I think about 25 degrees here right now. And the sun's still up at 8 o'clock at night.
Yeah, I had to defrost a car as well for my wife. Like, we're not the same.
Different, very different.
But yeah, like, I always say this, it's always an easy start into an interview. Like, how did you even get into cycling? Because like, I did a bit of scrolling on the Instagram as research, and it looked like you started at quite a young age.
Yeah, I started cycling when I was 12, actually. So now it's like coming up into the 8th year. So I've been riding for a while. I got into it in Victoria. There's like this big riding program. It's kind of like a adventure sort of thing, which I'm not sure. You know Sarah Gigante, right?
Yeah.
It's the same thing that got her into cycling, called the Great Vic Bike Ride. So I had cousins that did cycling, and I borrowed one of their road bikes to do this like ride with my mum. And my dad at the time was doing some like local masters sort of racing. And as soon as I had that road bike and did that ride, he was like, okay, you can start racing now. So then I kind of got into like the junior series in Victoria. And I didn't really train or anything for the first couple of years. I just did the racing and had fun at the races and came basically last in every single race, but really just like enjoyed the sport. And then kind of in lockdown in COVID 2020, that's when I started like training and taking it a bit more seriously.
Yeah, that's wild. Like, so many stories are like, oh yeah, in COVID, it's either in COVID my career got messed up, or in COVID I really knuckled down for training, because
Yeah.
what else are you gonna do? Like,
Yeah, exactly. Because I did like lots of other team sports like football and AFL in Australia, like netball. I also did a bit of athletics and like cross country running as well. And kind of all that was more like group training, I guess. So that was all shut down when we were in lockdown. But I had a trainer out the back of my bike. So I was like, okay, I guess I'll do this.
God, yeah. Like, you mentioned AFL. Like, I tried watching it once, and I can't get my head around it. Like, it's kind of rugby, but not really. And apologies to anyone listening who actually does AFL and hates the comparison to rugby, because it's probably a real crude one. But yeah, like, I can't get my head around that. Like, how do you even play? Yeah.
I can't say I was like I did it for about five years. I can't say I was very good. I kind of did it more for the social aspect. that's kind of why I've ended up doing cycling as like my sport, because I really, despite doing lots of ball sports when I was younger, I really do not have good hand-eye coordination or hand
Mm,
or eye-foot coordination for like footy, I guess.
yeah, yeah. I think I'd argue I'm quite the same. Like cycling is great because, especially with cleats, like your range of motion is limited. It's
Yeah,
deliberately restricted, which
yeah,
means you can just focus on doing the sport rather than running and kicking and making sure like the pass is perfectly weight. Like,
yeah. It's
nah,
lot like it's different. It's lots of external factors, but different to like team
mm,
like ball sports. Very different.
yeah. And it's also, yeah, as you said, like there's that social element. Like you are sometimes in a team, but kind of so like it's this sort of pseudo team individual sport
Yeah,
that's so weird to
yeah,
anyone outside.
yeah. Because obviously, when you're in cycling and doing the sport, when someone in your team wins, it feels like, oh, the team won. But from the outside, it's like that person won. You know?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So yeah, like you did. I mean, you've just come off nationals, which is like I'm trying to count how many you've done. Like five, I want to say, at a rough guess, or is it not that many yet?
Uh, I've only done four actually. I
Oh
didn't
no.
race nationals. I'd raced my first nationals was in under 19s,
Yep.
um, like juniors, and then I didn't race the first year under 23 nationals because I'd actually just gotten COVID over Christmas, and obviously it's like the first second week of January, so I really wasn't in form, so I scratched from that race.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay, so fourth, you've just done your fourth one, but yeah, I want to rewind
Yeah,
to that first one. Like that was kind of like, well, as your first go, you got two top tens from what I've seen, and like Mackenzie Copeland, who just won the nationals, like the big one, won that one, um, which is like crazy to look. Do you ever look at like old result sheets as well and go, "Oh
yeah.
yeah, this is who I was racing," and now look at them.
Yeah, because I know that lots of the girls right now in Australia that are really like coming up and coming riders were all from my like exact year of birth,
Mm.
2005.
Oh,
So I've been racing them for a while, and they've always been really strong, but it's like really cool to see like, oh, I was racing these people and now they're like over in Europe winning races, and it's really cool to see that.
yeah, because like the second year it was like Fliss, Wilson Havenden.
Yeah.
Um,
And
she
Talia
won it.
Appleton.
Yeah, because it's her, Mackenzie again, and then Tyler
Yeah,
Appleton, as you say, like,
yeah.
and they were miles ahead, mind you, looking at
Oh
the result
yeah.
sheet. Like,
That race actually, because that was second year under 19s. That
yeah,
race, when that breakaway went, I replayed that moment so many times in my head
oh no,
because we were going. So on the old nationals course, there's like an 8-minute climb basically every lap,
mm,
and Mackenzie had attacked like kind of sort of 2 or 3 minutes into it, and it reduced the bunch to only about seven of us. And then as I was like, oh yeah, this is really cool that I'm here. And then as we got almost to the top, she attacked again. And then obviously four of them, which later reduced to three, but four of them got up the road, and then there was three of us dropped. We were trying to chase back on, but then we just ended up getting caught by everyone else.
yeah. See, I wouldn't. I'd be okay with that because it's like, well, you gave your best. The worst
Yeah.
would be like one of them attacks and you're like, oh, we'll catch them later, and you sort of
Yeah.
ignore it almost. Like that would hurt more, I think.
Yeah, but I also feel like in under 19 or junior racing in Australia, when I was in it, it's a bit different now because there's more people in like teams together. Everyone kind of just rode for themselves completely. So it always ended up being like the breakaway was just the strongest, fastest people because it wasn't even necessarily a breakaway as such. It was just more like no one else can hold their wheel. No one else is strong
Yeah.
enough to with
Oh,
them.
yeah. It. I remember I did a bit of racing at junior level, and I remember like it's just smash 7 bells out of each other, and then whoever's
Yeah.
left wins. It's like great. And yeah, there's no collaboration, like, because
No.
even I think it was Simon. So I raced the same year as Simon Yates.
Oh yeah.
Recently retired. So you say
Yeah,
like
I see that.
all your contemporaries are like hitting it big and winning great races in Europe, and all my contemporaries are retiring and stopping. I'm like, great. But like he was in that race. It's called the Sid Standard. It doesn't go anymore. But like apparently he was in a move and just no one wanted to work with him, and he got really peeved off. And like I get it, but equally, yeah, it's just there's no idea of like working together. Maybe it's changed since, like maybe it's got a bit more sophisticated racing, but
Yeah.
back when I was doing it, it's just bludgeon each other, see who's left.
I feel like in Australia in the last couple of years, like it's become, from my perspective, like viewing the under 19s now, that it's like more team dynamics. Even though I think this year I heard that because there's like a main team in under 19s, especially in the girls' ARA, and they kind of just have all the strongest, like 5 or 6 riders in that category. So then they just dominate every single race. But I did hear on a podcast that actually, um, this nationals they were told to just like all race for themselves, which probably made the racing more interesting for everyone else not in that team.
Yeah, yeah. Because like in the UK, in the girls, we've got Tofauti, everyone active, which I think is now Camps Majeko. I think whatever team's working with Ineos at junior level,
Yeah.
and then there's Shibden. So there's like two families, if you will, like two teams that dominate, and then everyone else. But again, it changes the dynamics when teams are involved and when you
Yeah.
stop riding individually.
Yeah, because also at under 19s, no one really knows how to ride into in a team anyway, even if you're told
Yeah,
to.
yeah. Again, that was the thing for me. I would have loved to have had a team. Like I was the only junior at my club at that time, and like the whole concept of a team dynamic would have been great because I wasn't great, but like if you gave me something to work for, you know,
Then you end
yeah,
up trying harder almost. 'Cause you're
yeah,
like, oh,
like
this can make a difference to their race.
yeah, exactly. Like I was doing a tiny race, like no one's ever going to see it on the Palmares, but like it was a handicap race, but like the bunch split, and my teammate who's pretty good got caught behind it, and I was with that group, and I just floored it to get the groups back together. Like I was never going to win that race, but he might, and it's like,
Yeah,
well, I can at least sacrifice my chances because I've got zero chance anyway. Like
yeah.
I'll take my 0.1% and
Give
completely
it to you.
negate it. Yeah, and that's what I mean. Like that's why cycling is this sort of pseudo team individual sport that I love. But anyway, um, so you did that. You also got like South Oz champ, if I'm thinking right.
Yeah, I went because I'm from Victoria, but I went over to South Australia and did.
That's what confused
Yeah,
me a little.
yeah, because I don't think that year even had a state championship. Or maybe we did, but maybe I didn't race it. I'm not sure. The local racing scene, well, even the domestic, but the local racing scene, like state based, is really like kind of dissolving at the moment, I think. But I went over to South Australia and raced that, and we were combined with the like under 23s and elites because I think there was only like
Wow.
5 of us in the under 19s there. So that would have been a very boring race if it was just 5 people. But yeah, I think there wasn't necessarily that many people actually at the race. So it wasn't like it was cool to get the gold medal in like the time trial and the road race, but I wasn't really beating many people. I
It's
but
a
no
good
one
win to
else
win. Like,
now people might know that, but no one else had to know that. No one has
no,
to
I
know
mean,
that when I post that on Instagram.
yeah, exactly. Like the caption ain't telling you anything like that. It just says you won, and that's it.
Yeah,
Done. Like
exactly.
happy days. And then like, when did you join bike? Like, again, it's very confusing in timelines because there's Meridian, there's BikeBug, and now currently there's Meridian BikeBug.
Yeah, so it's kind of like changed a bit, but I was in the program when it started. So when I
Okay.
started in under 19s,
Mm.
and then first year under 23s. So it was an under 19 program for 3 years. And then
Yeah.
last year it became like a under 23, mainly under 23, but also like elite team as well.
Mm.
But I was in it for the first 2 years while I was in under 19s when it was 99 bikes from an academy or something. It wasn't even Meridian at that point.
Yeah.
And then it kind of, my first year in under 23s, I was racing in a French team over in France. And then I came back to the team when it kind of became the under 23 sort of team last year. And yeah, in it still now. So I've been there from the start. I think I'm the only person who has been.
That's crazy, but like, yeah, you've got some incredible talent on that team. Like, obviously yourself, but then there's Alyssa, former guest, Alyssa Pilates. You've got Quinn Findlay, who I chatted to recently as well, who's like, yeah, she's raced a lot in Spain, so got
Yeah.
that continental experience. Likewise, you yourself, and we're going to talk about Europe in a bit. So it's like, what? I guess my questions were going to be like, what motivated you and what excites you about the project. But like, you've been with it for a very long time now, which puts
Yeah.
years on me. Like, yeah, I guess what does excite you about it?
Well, I think it's like obviously at the moment it's the only now continental team from Australia
Mm.
slash New Zealand for women. So I think that pathway is like definitely needed. And I think Australia was missing that a bit last year, kind of just having that team that can go over all together to Europe. Because I've now been in Europe for like 1.5 seasons. And obviously like you can get by being in like a Dutch team or a French team, but I definitely think having people around you that like it's common ground, like you're all from the same place, you know each other well, just makes that transition to racing in Europe a lot easier, I feel. And also racing back in Australia, the ProVelo Super League, doing that last year, it's really fun and like good vibes racing. It's very different to European racing because we do have a lot less riders. So in most of the races, there'll be between like maybe 40 to 80 riders compared to over 100. Um, but yeah, just having that this block of racing in summer, in Australian summer, and then being able to go over to Europe all together as a team this year, and then race over there, I think will also be really cool. Because last year it was just our contracts were only until like the end of March, I'm pretty sure. So it was like literally January, February, March, and then everyone just kind of did whatever they were going to do. Most of us, I think it was about half half. Half people had like plans to go over race in Europe, and like the other half of people kind of just stayed in Australia or New Zealand and raced locally for the rest of the year.
Yeah, and like, I guess the question I was going to ask is like, what is that difference, or how different does it feel to go over to Europe? Like, because as you said, like the size of a peloton is almost incomparable. Like,
Yeah, very. And also, like many people find, so when I went over to Europe for the first time and you're racing all of a sudden in a bunch like at least double the size of in Australia, you're all of a sudden like, oh my God, you have to think about so many other things. My first kermesse in Belgium, I just remember after the race, I was like, the whole race, I wasn't even thinking about riding. I was just thinking about like trying not to crash, trying to like move up in the bunch. Because in Australia, if you're in a bunch of like 40 people, it's very easy to just kind of go around the outside and you're at the front. Or even if you're sitting halfway through the bunch, you're still in the front 15, 20 wheels. Whereas if you're sitting halfway in the bunch in a kermesse with like 120 people, you're gone. Like you have to move up. Um, so I really just think that in terms of like the size is probably the biggest difference, but also the level. We have like, I think in Australian racing, especially in women's, there's a very big difference between someone who's like winning the races and then someone who's like finishing at the back of the bunch, which also is in Europe, but because there's only like 50 people, there's like 50 people filling that space compared to when you're in Europe and there's like 120, then there's like 120 people between the best and the worst. But the best in Australia, I don't know if this is even making sense, but the best in Australia could be winning that race in Europe as well. But like the worst would be, or the person finishing last will be like at the back of those European races as well. So it's like a bigger difference in a smaller pool of riders.
Mm.
I don't know if that makes any sense at all.
No, no, it does. Like, because yeah, to be noticed in Australia, it's like you kind of have to be really good to be at the front of the race, regardless of where you're racing. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's kind of there's a lot more middle in Europe.
Yeah,
Like the very
exactly.
top and the very bottom are about the same, but that middle is there's twice as many people. It's
Exactly. Or
like
more. Because I
yeah,
remember looking before I'd ever gone to Europe and I'd see people on like Instagram, like Australians posting about like top tens in races. And I'd be like, top 10? That's like, why would you post about a top 10? It's like there's 20 people in the race. That's just like saying you finish halfway in the race. Then I went over to Europe. I'm like, oh, top 10's actually pretty good if you're in a race of like 100 people.
yeah, yeah. I would celebrate any top like at there were points in my career where I'd be like, oh yeah, I'd celebrate finishing a race. Like
Yeah,
usually I'd be shelled on the first corner or something. And it's like, well, okay, that was a nice, 2 hour drive to
to
pin a
race.
number on, and yeah,
Yeah, I think that's also like when I did my first like block of Kermesse racing in Belgium, uh, to a year and a half ago, like 2024. Um, when I would finish the race, I think I ended up finishing the race, all the races I started, but every like it felt like such a big deal when I'd cross the finish line. I'd be like, some people in this bunch I know are like Conti or pro Conti riders. Even sometimes there's like world tour riders in those bunches,
mm,
and I'd be like, yeah, like I finished at the same time as them.
yeah. I also think like I don't know whether this holds any water, but like the difference between English cricket and Australian cricket, like the very top test level players are roughly comparable. Like not it's not one for one, but both teams have a great fast bowler, have a decent spinner, etc. But because there's only 6 states, like all that talent's concentrated, and you'll play a team like Victoria versus South Australia. Like there's going to
Yeah,
be probably 2 or 3 test players in each squad. Whereas like
yeah,
in the county scene, there's 18 counties and 11 players in a match. Therefore, like you could even play a whole season without facing anyone of tests and like who's playing
yeah.
tests. And it's like
Because there's just so many
that's the
more people.
difference. Yeah.
Yeah,
Which then I
that's a
think
good.
is a
That's a good
benefit.
comparison.
Yeah. I think it's a huge benefit to Australian sport that there is kind of it kind of concentrates the talent. As you said,
Yeah,
like the top's still the same level, but you're closer like you're in more I guess closer quarters to seeing it because you're every race you do there's going to be one of the top Australians there,
yeah,
therefore you're getting to see that talent up close and personal, whereas like yeah in a race of 120 like yeah if Mariana Voss is there like cool, but you might see her for like 5 seconds and then
yeah. And then she's off
yeah
winning.
she's off and you're out the back and it's like cool, like that was a nice day, like you're not going to gain anything as much.
Yeah.
um yeah.
And I also think the difference, I'm not um exactly sure about how it is in different countries in Europe, but when I was in France, I like 2 years ago, I did go and watch their nationals. Like I went with the team I
Mm,
was with and like watched them at their nationals. And they had like a separate race for amateur and then elite for the
mm.
nationals. Is that the same everywhere?
Yeah. I think there is an amateur version of British Nationals. I, I could be wrong, but
Because
I
I'm
guess
pretty
any if you're
because
good
at
enough, you could
ours,
do the pro
yeah,
one. But
yeah,
it's equally that I think there is an amateurs only, depending on what like who you sign up to. Like because you can
yeah,
sign up to British Cycling, but you could also sign up to there's one called TLI, which is like the League International or something weirdly like that doesn't really mean anything because it's just in the UK, but I could be
yeah.
wrong. Um, but yeah,
Yeah, because then ours, they would never split it up because everyone races together. Well, obviously also with the under 23 women with the elites as well, because then I think on Sunday we had about 75 or so in the race, which is decently sized still, I think, for like Australian racing. But you've got like some people that will like get shelled basically straight away in the race because there's
yeah,
just, you've got like Amanda Spratt and Brodie Chapman and all these really good riders. And then you've got some people who just like race local crits and then they've just decided to do the nationals.
yeah. Yeah, that I think that's something I do like about the Nationals, though, is that you do get this mix of riders, and like
Yeah,
everyone's got a puncher's chance, but then like
exactly.
depending on how the
No one
race
has
goes,
no one has 0% chance because you never know what will happen. What if like everyone crashes and you're the only person that survives the crash and then you go and win?
yeah, exactly. Like who knows what's going to happen? But yeah, like I was going to talk about that a little later, but let's go into how your road nats were. Like I think you got a couple of top tens. Am I right? I hope I'm right.
Yeah,
Uh,
I only did the road race, so I
ah,
didn't do the criterium or the time trial. I just did the road race on Sunday, and I ended up eighth under 23, and I think I was
mm,
like 19th overall in like the elites. So I
yeah.
was pretty happy with that. It was quite similar actually to what I came last year,
Mm.
which is like kind of looking in hindsight, I've improved a lot over the past 12 months. So I raced the race slightly differently, but um, yeah, I'm satisfied with the result. I wouldn't say I'm like really ecstatic or like really excited by it, but I'm not sad about it. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
that's like good to see the forms coming along and there's still a long season left.
Yeah, and also, as you said, you were born in 2005, so
Yeah.
you've got a couple of years under 23 left in you. Like, this isn't
Yeah.
your last shot at the under
Yeah,
23
yeah.
side, which, yeah, makes me feel a bit sick that you're so young, but that's life, I guess. Everyone's getting younger. Um,
Yeah.
so, yeah, like, I was going to talk actually about some of the races you've done domestically, like, because you won the NRS, like,
Yes,
National Road Series.
I won the junior version of it when
Ah,
I
got
was
you.
in 2023 when I was second year under
Yeah.
19s.
Yeah. Like, does that then put a target on your back when you go and race up at the next level? And you're like, well, they won NRS last year. They've got to be half decent. Like,
Not incredibly, because again,
okay.
this is the thing in like people were definitely aware, but the racing is so different because also that series was run, I think it was only 3 races, and it was also at the time where like the strongest, I think it was 4 Aussie girls from under 19s, they were in Europe at one point. I
Hmm.
think one of the races was around when like worlds, like junior worlds was or something. So not
Okay. Yeah.
everyone was actually there. So I just got lucky. Like I was just the best of the rest. But you had all these people that everyone already knew. So I was kind of just like, I won it. I still won it. But if there was a couple of those other girls there, maybe probably not.
But you can only beat what's in front of you, can't you? Like,
Exactly,
you can't
exactly. I
change.
Exactly. But like also from that the road nationals at the start of that year it was kind of quite clear that there was like the top girls and then there was kind of like a step below was everyone
Hmm.
else. So I just I was very happy to win that series. but it was just kind of off the back of other people, which I guess is different when you're in Europe and everyone's like always kind of close to home. It's not like those
Yeah.
girls could have just flown back, done that race, flown, like that's just not possible.
Could you
So yeah,
imagine like a 20-hour flight just to pop
do
over to like Perth, do a road race and go again? Like,
yeah.
that'd be mad. But yeah, you did that like, and there's also I wrote down that you did Melbourne to Warrnambool a couple of times. I hope I've said that name right.
Yeah,
Like
Melbourne to Warrnambool.
yeah, like that's a huge race from what I understand. It's like what 160k, which is
Yeah,
that's the UCI
168.
limit of like women's racing. Like
Really? I didn't even know
yeah,
that. Yeah, because
yeah,
it's like 159.7. The first
yeah.
time I did it, I stopped it at that. The second time I did it, I rode for a couple more 100 meters so I could get to 160 Ks.
Yeah,
But
there's a
yeah,
weird UCI ruling about like, yeah, you can only do 160. You have to ask for dispensation if you want your stage to go over
really.
160k.
And then you think
Um,
about the men's, and they've got like
they've got
200.
yeah,
They
they've
probably
got
don't even
Lance
have a
Arena.
limit.
Like
They probably don't have a limit.
no, no, I don't know,
300
but like yeah,
Ks?
you'd have
Who
to
knows?
ask if you wanted to go over 160 for women's, which is like so that
Yeah,
is near enough the longest you can race
yeah.
without having a special like dispensation to
Exemption.
go over. Like
Yeah.
how does that feel? Like, do you notice those extra like those last few Ks are really getting on, or
I felt like because I've raced it twice, because obviously you can't race it
mm,
when you're a junior. Um, but I found for myself, I kind of prefer longer races, just like attritional sort of races. And if you eat enough, like if you're still hitting like 100 grams of carbs per hour, um, I find getting to the last like 30 minutes, you still feel pretty all right. And because it's such a long race, the intensity overall is lower than like say a 2.5 hour race. So I remember finishing it both times and being like, oh, like that was the end. Because you've been like expecting, oh, I'm going to get to the end. It's 160 Ks. I'm going to be like exhausted. I'm not going to be able to move. But the difference in the ending, because you've like, it's still a long day out, but because you do lots of training rides, like similar distance or similar time, I guess
mm,
you get to the end and you're just kind of like, okay, like I finished. But it's not like you've done a big hard effort up a hill and you're like dead on the finish line, because it's quite a flat race. Like I think it's only like maybe not even 1,000 or maybe around 1,000 meters elevation for 160 Ks. And all of that's really kind of in the beginning, like the first 30 or 40 Ks. So by the time you're at the end, it's just been a really fast run in through to the finish. And you have your little sprint and then you're just like, oh, we're done now. It's,
yeah, because yeah, I've done like hill sprints and like races that finish uphill, which is perfect for me, but it does you just want to sit in a ditch and just
yeah,
be
that's
done.
like
Whereas like
when you've
yeah,
just got that long straight finish. Like actually last year in the race, about one of my teammates actually about there was a breakaway of 3 up the road, but about 1.5 Ks or 2 Ks, maybe 3 Ks to go, one of my teammates attacked. And like obviously a bunch of people are following, so I just kind of like followed the wheels up there. And I was looking down, I was maybe doing about 350 watts, like just to get onto this attack, so not very much at all. And I look behind me and no one else is even like able to get out of the seat. I don't know if they just couldn't be bothered or like they were too tired to or what, but I'm like, guys, like this is barely even an attack to get into this like little group that's now gonna get ahead of the race. We've only got like 2 Ks to go. But I think just the difference in terms of like people like being able to like eat enough or just like handle that like longer race style is really evident once you're like 4 hours into a race, because like it wasn't that much effort for anyone, I don't think, to actually like kind of just do a little effort, stand out of the seat for 30 seconds. But all of a sudden like the bunch just fully split up because like the difference in like people's fatigue levels was so big,
yeah,
which is different to like obviously any other shorter distance race. That doesn't really come and play into effect as much.
Yeah, I get the vibe as well. Like with it being so flat at the end, it's like that for extra 300 meters, you could probably just roll it like to get over to the 160 limit, and like like you could just freewheel and probably make it.
Yeah.
But also, yeah, you could go, that was cool, but I could probably do an extra. Could keep going for another 10K if you want.
Yeah,
Like,
I would like it. They should try and make it 200 Ks. I would do that. That would actually be
yeah, because
fun. Just to say it's 200 Ks.
even thinking about it, like you look at a sprint finish in like the Tour de France Femme or something like that, and it's like, well, yeah, they're breathing heavy, but they're just chatting afterwards,
Yeah, you
and like
recover very.
celebrating. Yeah.
Yeah,
Whereas like if you look at, I don't know if you ever watched the Glasgow Worlds when like
yeah, yeah. I did.
and like
That
there are people
looks.
like Fliss and people like after the time trial just dead in a ditch almost, like not
Yeah,
literally obviously, but like th- there's no way they could have gone an extra 100 meters.
yeah,
Whereas like the sprint, yeah, a sprint finish, you probably could keep going if you had to. Like
yeah. If you were
it's
forced
kind of
to.
weird. Yeah, it's so weird, like the difference. I guess yeah, one of the differences I was thinking of, like with Europe, like I guess the roads in Australia are a lot straighter and just go on forever.
Yeah,
Like,
that is definitely true. Like in that race, and there's also a lot less road furniture because most of the races are like out of cities and in smaller towns, which are very small. So when you're doing, I mean, obviously apart from nationals, because that was like in Perth, but
mm,
you rarely have to go around a roundabout or even turn a corner. Like I think in that 160 Ks, there's maybe like 10 corners. Very different when you're doing compared to a Kermes when you probably do like over 100 corners.
yeah, you probably do 160 corners in 10K
Yeah,
versus like,
exactly.
see, I don't know whether I'd prefer, like, I was rubbish at bike handling, so I don't know whether I'd prefer the Australian style or not, because I also have a very low boredom threshold, so I'd be like, another 10K of this, like,
You just attack. That's the thing. Like you just when you get bored, you just like, oh, I guess someone needs to attack now, so maybe I'll just try and attack. Because the races sometimes do get a bit boring, especially if there's like a dominant team, or if there's
mm,
a breakaway up the road with like someone from every team, then everyone's like, oh, like which is also kind of in Europe, but there's way more teams, so there's rarely going to be a breakaway with every
yeah,
team. Whereas in Australia, we've got like 6 teams, so you just need a six rider breakaway, and no team will want to ride because everyone will be like, well, we like supporting our rider in the break, so we're not going to ride, and then you end up just rolling around, which is also boring.
yeah. Although
I
we
don't
did see
think
at
I
Road
prefer that.
Nats, even that, like, even having someone up the road isn't a guarantee of success.
Yeah,
If you look at the men's race, but we'll not say too much about that one. I don't.
yeah.
I was listening to it and I was like,
Were you awake when it was
surely they
happening?
could. Yeah, the men's was a lot later, so it was like
Yeah,
11 a.m. I think by the time the men's was happening,
yeah.
because the difference to Perth as well isn't as
Yeah,
huge
because
as it
it's
is to
3
you.
hours. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
so it's only
it would
8 hour
be
difference to
8
us.
hours.
So
Yeah.
like, yeah, a race finishing at 7 at night, even you, as you said, it's still light out at 8 and 9. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I
a
think,
race.
I think they probably put the men's later so people can watch it in Europe because I've got messages from like some friends in Europe and they've been like, oh my God, that race. What the hell?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, because like I
It's
think
like
I
the
put
first
it
race of the
on.
year.
Yeah, I put it on and they had like 50K to go. I was like, oh, I thought they'd be like nearly done. And like
Yeah.
the women's, I just missed entirely, which I was like,
Yeah.
this is really annoying. Um, I think I don't know whether I don't know where the old circuit is. Like, I can vaguely say the name, but I don't want to in case I get it wrong.
Bunny,
But
bunny
that's the
Mill?
one. Yeah, yeah. Like, I feel like that started like the women started at like 11:30 at my night before when it was on that old course.
Yeah. The
So I
women's
feel
used to
like that,
start like really early. It was at
yeah,
like it was at like 7:30 or 8 our time, which obviously, yeah. Can compared
because
to
yeah,
now, we started at like 11, I'm pretty sure, in our like 11 in the morning. So that would have
I
been like
would
midnight
prefer
for
that.
you.
Like, yeah, but I don't mind that. Like, or actually, 11 in the morning in Perth though is like,
Oh, that's
yeah, that's like
that's like
like
3
three
a.m.
in the morning. Yeah, yeah,
Maybe no. That's
yeah.
probably the
That's
worst
the
time for you.
difference in difficulty we had. Like, but anyway, yeah. I'd forgotten. Oh yeah, I was going to talk. Last couple of things was like you've raced even in Ireland, so you've been in my time zone, which is crazy. You did the Ras na Mun, which was won by Alice McWilliam this year.
Yeah,
Or well, last season, but you know what I mean. The most recent edition at time of
yeah,
speaking. Um, how was that for you? Because I guess the UK and Ireland roads are a bit, I'd call them grippy. Like they're not smooth asphalt. They're very
yeah.
sort of bumpy and bobbly all the time.
I really enjoyed that race actually. I had heaps of fun. I think it was
Mm,
like the style of the racing, I could definitely compare it a little bit more to Australia. Like
okay.
it was kind of a middle ground, I feel like, between when I was racing in like Belgium, Netherlands, France, and then Australia because the bunch was a bit smaller. I think there was like maybe 70 or 80 riders compared
Mm,
to like over 100. But I really enjoyed that race. Like it was very, I'm just trying to think of it now. It was like quite a long, there was like 7 stages or 6 stages or something, which was
yeah.
something I'd never done before. So it was like really interesting to see how I pulled up. And I was
Mm,
still getting like, I think, because it was also the end of the season. So some people were obviously like a bit burnt out by then. But because I'd only been in Europe for like 2.5 months, I was still like going. So even on like the fifth day, I was like, I got my best 5 minute power ever on like the fifth stage, which was like pretty
mm.
cool to see. Like it was also annoying because that was the end of my season. So I like did all these, like I was the fittest I've ever been. And then I've got like 3 weeks off and I start riding and I'm like, oh, that's all gone
Yeah.
now.
So yeah, how did you find backing up day after day? Because like again, I've not done a lot, but I remember I did the junior tour of Isle of Man, and it was like you did a prologue one night, then stage one or two, like in the daytime the next day, and then the final stage. And like that final stage was like, admittedly, I was in a head. I'm sure it must have been a headwind and slightly uphill, but I was pushing 14 mile an hour, which is like what 20k, barely,
Yeah.
and that was a struggle.
Yeah.
So it must have been a terrific headwind. But like, yeah, like you really notice the fatigue. Like if you're not used to it,
Yeah.
backing up is hard.
I think it was really about like, I think that week was the most I'd ever eaten in my life. Like, I was just forcing myself to eat so much because I'm like, it doesn't matter if I feel slightly sick now because it will make me feel less bad tomorrow. So that was my mindset. And I think like the very last, I can't even remember what the very last stage was. Oh, it was a criterium. There was a
Mm,
there was a short time trial in that morning, and then there was a criterium that afternoon. And definitely, like, I could feel the fatigue in the legs, but it wasn't as bad as I might have thought it could have been, just because I was making sure I was like staying so much on top of like the nutrition and hydration throughout the week. So it ended up not being too bad. And also in Australia, we very rarely have like 1 day races, like apart
mm,
from Melbourne to Warrnambool, and then I'm pretty sure the Grafton to Inverell. They're the only two ones that we have because you have to travel so far. So they're
yeah.
always like 3 or 4 stages. So you kind of get used to that even from juniors, just always doing stage races and like doing 2 stages in a day or just backing up. So I think it was like a good progress to like try out something even a bit longer than that because I had a bit of experience with stage racing in the past, so I kind of knew what I should do.
Mm. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense actually. And again, like it fuels my theory that the way Australian sport is set up, like, is to your benefit a lot of the time because
Yeah.
yeah, it's all concentrated and as you said, like because you have to travel like I, I can't remember why I was looking it up, but like one of my cousins lives in like Lake Argyle area and like it's right on the border between Western Australia and Northern Territories, but
Yeah.
like the hospital that is the most helpful for them is in Perth, and I was like, oh, I wonder how far that is. It's like 18 hours if you drive. I'm like,
Yeah.
let's not. Um, like
Let's
it's
hope
not somewhere
nothing.
you need to go in an emergency, but
Yeah.
like yeah, it's a huge
Everything's so
distance, and
far. Like if
yeah,
we obviously flew to Perth for nationals from Melbourne, but if we were to drive, it would be 40 hours without stopping, which would take 4 days or longer.
yeah,
I don't think I'd want to sit in the car 10 hours a day for 4 days, but you probably have
no.
to do.
Well, if you 40 hours is that's a working week. Like
Yeah.
that is doing an 8 hour 9 to 5 desk job, but
Yeah.
sat in the car. Like oh my god, all that.
And also like the road from like the main part, which is called the Nullarbor Plain, which is like through the bottom of South Australia and the bottom of like the start of Western Australia, is literally a straight road on it in a desert. Not like just you can't even see where the road ends. It just
Oh,
keeps going. But like I don't know. I think it's like over 1,000 kilometers or something. I don't know exactly, but it's
yeah,
very long, straight, flat, dead road.
that yeah that would
It's not
be
interesting driving.
no no that I mean cruise control is made for that sort of road,
Yeah.
but then there's a danger that you just switch off. And anyway, um, so looking ahead now, like what are your plans, ambitions, etc. for the this season coming up?
So I've got my, I guess, first race with the team up aside from nationals coming up, not this weekend but next weekend, which is the first round of ProVelo called SA Kick It, and that kind of runs alongside the Tour Down Under for the men, so it's like at the same time, um, which will be my first kind of like semi-target race,
Okay.
which has got like an uphill time trial and a criterium and like a laps around this motor park, which is I did it last year and it's quite a boring race because it's very, very fast and no breakaway can get away. It's like guaranteed a
Okay.
breakaway
Yeah.
will not get away. But it is also quite windy. But my sights are probably more set to use this block of racing in Australia to build up into Europe.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Um, so I'm not exactly sure. There's 6 rounds of the Pro Velo. I know that I'm doing the first 3, but I'm not sure about the next 3, which ones I'm doing or not. That's not really decided yet. I'll kind of use the races obviously to like try and do my best, and like hopefully get some good results, but also use it as just like a big build up into a big season of European racing because we'll be over there for like 5.5 months, which is a long time. So I don't want to
Yeah.
burn myself out in like March and then you're like, oh, I've got to keep racing until September. We will have some breaks throughout the season while we're in
Mm.
Europe, but um, I think just really what I want to do over the last 2 seasons, like racing in Europe, I've like definitely improved a lot with like just strength and also being able to like ride in a bunch and stuff because that's something you have to learn as an Australian when you go over to Europe to start off
Mm-hmm.
with. Just learning how to like navigate a bunch and like the road furniture as well and just improving your bike handling skills. So now I've kind of got past that. Um, I'd really like to be able to. We're doing a bunch of UCI races, and I would think if coming home from Europe, my like if I've gotten a top 10 in one UCI race, which might not be possible at all, but could be possible, that would be like a successful season for me, personally, but also being able to like make impacts in races as well. I
Mm.
found that like towards the end of my stay last year, um, when I was in Belgium, in like the kermesse scene over there, I was able to get into breakaways and get a few top tens like in those kermesses. So kind of almost being able to bring that up, which it's a big step up because I did. I don't know how you exactly pronounce it, but do you know KBE, the 1.1 in France, Cres?
Oh, Elite.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've
I
probably
did
said it
that
wrong as
last
well.
year.
I'll just.
I did that last year in France, and obviously you're lining up on the start line with like Elisa Longo Borghini, and I'm standing there like, okay, this is obviously a very big step up from basically any other race I'd done because I'd done some other UCI races, but they were more with like development teams and they didn't have like their best riders for the World Tour teams there, so it's very different. But kind of in a UCI race, but maybe my goal wouldn't necessarily be get a top 10 in a race like that because I don't think that would be possible at this stage in my career. But yeah, in any of the lower sort of ones, being able to like even like TV time, getting in a break, like getting up the road and just kind of consistently building on what I've built over the last couple of years, improving, like getting my name out there a bit more and like also just really enjoying like the experience again because yeah, I love racing over in Europe. It's so fun.
Oh, awesome. Final two questions then. If I may do a deal that you could win any race, but that's the only race you're winning for the whole of your career, what are you picking?
uh Wait, I would say Tour de France,
Okay, yeah.
just the Queen stage of a Tour de France.
So
I
you
would
want to win the
actually
Queen, but you're not winning the whole thing.
uh
And
oh the well is this could I say the whole thing? Does that
you could
count?
say the whole thing, but you're not winning the stage. Like you're not winning it on the road. You're just getting like seconds, but then like the person in the Maillot comes like 10 minutes back, so you win that way. If that makes sense. Like you can win the
Yeah.
GC, but you
Oh,
can't win the individual stages.
I would probably. Oh, actually, now I'm thinking about all other races because that's the first one that comes to your mind, right? But now I'm thinking about maybe like winning worlds because then you get to wear the rainbow bands for a whole season. But then you won't be able to ever put them on show because you can't ever win another race. It's
Well,
a
you can still
challenging
show them
question.
off. Like imagine rocking up to road nats just with like your world
Rainbow
champion
bands.
bands. Yeah,
Oh,
and
okay,
like they
maybe
stay
I'd
on
choose
your
worlds. I'd
yeah
choose
they stay on
worlds.
your jersey. Like
Yeah. Oh, you've
even
always
after.
got it.
Yeah,
Yes. Okay, yeah. Worlds. I don't
nice.
know which one, because obviously, who knows what the worlds are going to be in the future. But yeah, worlds.
Yeah, fair enough. Um, and then final question then is how can people follow you in the metaphorical sense, not the literal sense, because that's A, creepy, and B, very difficult because you're a fast bike rider. Um, so yeah, how can people keep up with your goings on, like Instagram and others?
Yeah, most of my stuff I just post on my Instagram. Which should I say my Instagram?
Yeah,
Like send it
if
out.
you're happy sharing it,
Yeah.
it will be on screen.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I don't really need to say it then, but yeah,
Yeah,
mostly my
yeah,
Instagram. That's where I kind of post almost recaps from every single race I do because I just think it's good to like put that stuff out there just so everyone can see how you're going. And I like
yeah.
reading about other people's races, so I like to give little summaries on how my races have gone and just put that out there.
Oh,
And
nice.
also my Strava.
Strava. Wow. Yeah,
I'm
doesn't get many shout outs, but it's had a
I've
few.
I do like I used to hide my power data and everything on Strava, but then one day I like realized why should I be doing that? Because it's like, how is it going to change anything? How is sharing your power data going to change anything? That's why I want to see like, I love it when pros like don't hide their power data because I love seeing it because it's not going to change anything about what I'm doing because like I can only do what I can do, right? But I just
Yeah.
like seeing that. So I'm a very much how do you say it? I don't know. I'm just very for sharing everything.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like there's pros and cons to it. Like certainly when you said like, oh yeah, I attack. Well, it wasn't even an attack; it was 350 watts. I'm like,
Yeah.
I remember I was on a sort of static trainer in the gym once. I was just trying to do 20 minutes, and the power was like 200, if that. And I was like, I started to struggle after about 15. I was like, you're just saying, yeah, dropping a 350 watt bomb is nothing. Like,
that is true. But then we've got Tade, who's doing 350 watts for his zone too. So
yeah,
there's a big scale. And also those trainers in the like gyms always underestimate power. I swear. Like a lot.
Oh, definitely.
A lot. It's probably like 50% or like 70%.
I would go even tenfold. Like, 200 watts on that is really like 2,000 watts in real life. Like, definitely. Yeah.
That's what I tell myself whenever I'm sprinting. I'm like, yep, it's like, it's reading like I'm actually doing a 4,000 watt sprint.
Yeah,
definitely.
Like they've not calibrated it for me, so clearly, like, it can't be right.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, it's been so lovely to chat to you. I can't wait to see how the rest of your season goes. Those first rounds of ProVelo have probably happened already, so congratulations. Well done on whatever the result was.
Thank you.
Where I hope you haven't like crashed and got like a career-ending injury or something, and I'm making a joke about it. Like,
touch wood.
But yeah, can't wait to see how things go, and yeah, I'm excited.
Well, thank you for having me. It's been good to chat to you too.
Well, there you go. That was me chatting with Mia Williams. And if you enjoyed that, do please be sure to check out the rest of our back catalogue, because there's a lot of episodes. And yeah, we are fast approaching number 100. I've got something special planned there. So yeah, enjoy, and until next time.